Now, a lot of Sony fans should have heard about a game called PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale for the PS3, and recently there's been a big leak of stages and characters in the game, most of which include characters like Noriko from Heavenly Sword and Spike from Ape Escape, but one that hasn't been confirmed has been Crash Bandicoot. But quickly after these leaks occurred, this image appeared online. Now, a lot of people thought it was a screenshot from the game, but I will show you why it isn't, and is in fact a fake. Okay, so here we have the Crash shot here, showing what appears to be Crash Bandicoot fighting Fat Princess. Now, if you look at the image, it's not exactly to scale. I mean, Crash isn't exactly on the same plane of field as Fat Princess. He's actually a bit further back. But not only this, you have a lot of things that, I've been a Crash fan recently, you probably wouldn't have spotted a lot of these things. I think this image shows it best. But, okay, so you see his right arm, or left to us, is actually from a Crash Twinsanity render, which shows him giving a thumbs up, and meanwhile his left arm is shown to be tiny in comparison, and gloveless even. And as you can see here, his actual facial portrait is indeed from a render from Crash Tag Team Racing by Radical Entertainment, and then all I've done is quite literally just sort of move the eyes a bit. The legs, however, are from Crash's Mind Over Mutant model from 2008, also by Radical Entertainment. And his face seems to be a combination of various models, some from the original, some looking like they're from the cancelled Crash 2010 game, some a bit from Crash Boom Bang. It looks like it's a combination. Either way, it's fake. But what if Crash was in All-Stars Battle Royale? I personally think he's a strong contender. I've been a big fan of Crash for a very, very long time, and I think the game would benefit from him being there massively. He would suit the game so well, and here's why. In his actual later games, he became very much more combat heavy rather than platform heavy as he used to be. They think, okay, this is the bad thing, you want to avoid all of the newer Crash stuff in this game if he was to appear. But I think actually elements from these new games should be incorporated into Crash in order to make him fit and feel better in such a game. And in regards to this, I'm going to go into what I think his moveset would be in All-Stars Battle Royale should he be included. Now, as the square attack, just plain square on its own, would be a spin attack, no question. He's always been spin in the old Crash games, and it feels right at home being square. His squaring up, I think, should just be something like an uppercut from like Sweet Tooth. He has something similar, and the reason being is because in Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant, he uses this in a combo attack, and it looks right at home. He sort of throws his whole body weight into it, and it looks fine. Now, as for squaring down, I think that should be a move that's just actually in Crash of the Titans, where Crash does a spin kick on his head, and it's pretty cool, and I definitely think it would work for squaring down myself. Now, circle, I think, should actually be his punch attacks. In the games developed by Radical Entertainment, he actually does the punch attack. Spin attack's normally done by square and rotating the analog stick, but I don't think that's right. I think square should be spin, and circle should be that punch attack instead. If that feels right to me, circle being normal punch, and you can combo into the Norris Roundhouse, which Crash actually has a triple punch combo attack. Now, circling up, I think, should be belly flop, and the reason I think it's belly flop is because I think this is one of Crash's trademark moves that he tends to have in pretty much all of the games up till Crash of the Titans, actually, thinking about it. And the reason it shouldn't be circling down is because I think circling down should be something like Lion Nitro Crate. Nitro Crate's from like Crash 2 all the way through to Twinsanity or so, and they just sort of, one touch and they explode on you. And I think it's brilliant. An object-based attack where you sort of lay something down and then run away, and then you can like punch enemies into the crate and it explodes. I think that would be better than, say, belly flopper circling down. Now, I also think circling towards the opponent or left and right should be the slide attack for sure. It could perform that move by doing those combination of buttons in the original games anyway, and it's also another of Crash's trademark attacks, I personally think. So that's all his square and circle attacks done. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's he gonna ask about the triangle attacks? Well, I'm personally gonna say this is easier than you think. I think the triangle attack should all be the bazooka. The Wumpa Bazooka is present in Crash Warped and Crash the Wrath of Cortex. Now, the reason for that is because I think the Wumpa Bazooka is one of Crash's big signature things. It's funny because it only appears in 2 games, but it's so iconic. And I don't think it should be used as a super either. I think it would work better as a projectile move. So if you have like normal triangle attack, you bring a bazooka up and it would just fire forward, right? That's what I personally think. And triangle and up will fire it upwards, and triangle and down will fire it downwards. And what would triangle and right do? Well, probably the same. If not, it will be a heavy attack from Mind Over Mutant. But personally, I think the triangle should be reserved just for the bazooka entirely, I think. Oh, and this is something I wanted to get onto, his block. Now, in Mind Over Mutant and Crash of the Titans, he has a block which brings up Aku Aku and a shield around him. I personally think that should stay in All-Stars Battle Royale. That would suit perfectly. Providing the designs, I prefer the Naughty Dog designs myself, so let's go back to those ones. So with the old Aku Aku, but obviously doing the new stuff. Now, what about the supers? Now, I think his first super, his level 1 super, Crash should actually get Aku Aku, just briefly. Give him a brief bout of invincibility and KO one of the opponents. Now, why not level 3 or level 2, you think? Because I have something else in mind for those. I think this will work as a level 1 super, and it'd be brilliant. So what about Super 2? Level 2. I think Crash should actually get on his jetpack from Crash 2 and XS. And keeping this in mind, it would work well. Because in XS, or the Huge Adventure as it's known, also, he uses jetpack and he can shoot as well. So imagine it, Crash would be on his jetpack briefly and he'd be shooting opponents all across the screen, just for a brief while. Now, what actually irks me about this is, I've had this in mind for quite a while, and then I found out Sly Cooper had something similar in the game, where he gets on the jetpack and starts throwing bombs down everywhere. I know he uses it in the Clockwork fight in the first Sly game, but it suits Crash more. So I personally think that. Now, level 3, what's it going to be level 3? And the reason that I didn't choose Aku Aku is because I think Aku Aku would work better as a level 1 super briefly, and work better as an item. You can pick up and get on vulnerability and then just sort of go on the screen. Now, his level 3 for Crash, I think, should be the Scorporilla from Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant, and the reason is because that thing is a beast. You jack it and then you're pretty much hammering on anything in sight. And wouldn't it be cool on the screen, a controllable Scorporilla that you're just battering the opponents with? It would just work so well. And of course, this Crash sort of incorporates all of the old style stuff, all the best things of the old style, and you got some of the best things of the new one as well. So if you got his Naughty Dog design and maybe his Crash of the Titans design as an alternate skin, or even fake Crash, hell, I mean, you can even say things like briefly. Crash isn't exactly a mute. He can say little things. So I can imagine, when he comes back from being KO'd, he would say "Whoa!" like he normally does when he dies, or when he comes into a fight, he probably wouldn't say anything. He'd probably just spin attack, but that's how it would go. So that's what I think.